Greetings. Never gets old, does it? I love this desk and this chair. Hang on, let me get my massage going. So there's so many stories about EVs. There's negative stories and there's a lot of positive stories. And the positive stories tend to be coming from the kind of the UK motor trade. In China, all the stories are negative. Everything about Chinese EVs appears to be bad. It's come to light that they're doing the same as we're doing in the UK, pre-registering vehicles and then selling them as 0 miles, but on a massive scale, a bigger scale than we're doing it. What's the purpose of that? No doubt so they can put figures out saying that they've overtaken Tesla, when clearly it's a dubious claim at best. Plus, of course, they're doing the same as we are. They're devaluing their own product by registering it and then selling it off cheap because they have to. Then that's affecting used car prices. That's the whole wrong way of doing things. In order for used cars to be successful, A, they have to sell on their own merit, and B, they have to hold the price. If they don't hold the price, then nobody buys them new because they can't afford for the drop when they go and part exchange them. So you have to have a vehicle with a good residual in order to sell it new. Also, to sell it used. If you're not careful, with PCPs these days, it's cheaper to buy a new one than it is to buy a used one. So why would you buy a used one? It's, you know, these people on the internet that tell you that because EVs are dropping so much in value, that it's a good thing because more people can afford them. More people can't afford them, fewer people can afford them, and fewer people can afford to buy them new. That's the actual facts. That's the truth. To demonstrate this, we used to get a lot of company car drivers coming in, and they could get a Rover for a certain amount of money. I think at the time it was about 350 quid. You could lease a Rover or get a Rover on contract hire. Now, nobody wanted a Rover. You know, everybody wanted a BMW. So they'd come in just to look, aspirations, and that's what they want. They want to look at the vehicle. But when you actually said to them, oh, you can have a Mercedes. And we used to do the same with BMWs. You can have a Mercedes for the same price as your Rover. Well, how can that be? Well, Mercedes hold the value better, and you only pay the difference between the depreciation, a bit of profit, and a bit of interest. So that's how, when I was at BMW, if somebody came in on and wanted a vehicle on a lease, we used to deal with a company called Price Waterhouse, and they were all entitled to a BMW, but the ones who just started, they'd get what we used to call affectionately a 316 snot, which had nothing. It'd be in dark blue, flat red, white, no extras at all. But the funny thing was that Price Waterhouse, even though they were accountants, they hadn't got it up here, because a BMW 316 snot was actually cheaper to contract hire in metallic paint and with a sunroof because it had a better residual value. So the difference between the price it was new, the price it would fetch second hand, was less than the one without the sunroof. So it was a no-brainer. But the company seemed to do that. So the ones who had just started, it actually cost them money. An accountancy firm, it cost them money to put a car on the road for one of the junior execs. Crazy. Anyhow, so that's it. So that's kind of an explanation. Now, I know what you're going to think. I should have been a cowboy. simpler times. I'd have loved it. Go out, do an honest day's work, come back, hungry, you appreciate your food more, you get an exercise while you're working. Instead, I became a car salesman who some people would also refer to as a cowboy. But I'm not a typical car salesman. In the Wild West, they used to do this thing, the gold rush. So they'd have a plot of land. In order to try and sell it to some unsuspecting, gullible idiot, they would load shotgun cartridges with gold and fire them into the ground. This process was known, I believe, as salting. And somebody had come and they'd test a bit of ground and they'd, bloody heck, it's full of gold. Full of gold, I'll buy this. And of course, that was just on the surface. There was nothing underneath. It was just fired into the surface. Now, where are you going with this, Baz? The UK motor trade press are salting. That's what they're doing. It's so that when you, a gullible member of the public who thinks they might want an EV, searches it, there's more articles, positive articles, than there are negative ones. That's salting. That's what the UK motoring trade press are doing, especially in my opinion with Chinese cars, Chinese vehicles. It's not right. Also, my comments on my YouTube videos and also on my Twitter feed are being salted by people who are just there to cast doubt on your opinions or your evidence. They don't offer alternative theories. They don't correct you. They just call you a liar because they can't correct you, or they just keep, even though you point them somewhere, point them to the evidence, they don't go there. They just keep calling you a liar. And on a few occasions, I've looked at these people who are calling me names. And when you look at who they follow and what they're tweeting, there seems to be a direct correlation between EV evangelists and perverts. You know, I mean, honestly, one recently actually made my flesh crawl. Disgusted me. And he's calling me a liar. Now I'll just try and show you. I'll just try and show you how it started. Because, again, it all comes back to our friend Colin Walker from the Climate Disinformation Unfit. Let's call them that. So it came back to a tweet by him. Again, China. Let me just see if I can find it. I've not prepared on this. I've just sat down here and, you know, if I try and prepare something and I've got a teleprompter, and when I'm using the teleprompter, I'm going, the Climate Disinformation Unit. So, not scripted, straight out of my brain, butterfly mind, flip from one thing to the other. China nears peak oil demand amid extraordinary EV sales. A surge in the adoption of EVs will lead to crude consumption falling within 2 years. Proof that EVs are delivering the change they were designed to. This is Colin Walker again from the Climate Disinformation Unfit. So I just sent this back. This was my reply. China's car industry runs on empty as supply chain bills go unpaid. That was basically stating that the Chinese EV makers are actually trading on their suppliers' money because they're not paying them. They're overstating their strengths. 400 Chinese EV companies seized operations between 2018 and 2025. Only a few will dominate towards 2030. Again, dominate. I'm assuming that means dominate Chinese, not the UK. Only 7 of I just thought, with those other 3 stories, I'd cut this out of a story. Chinese brands, percent. Now it's starting off at 0% and going down, -20, -40. and it shows BYD there going down at a steep rate like they're in an elevator from 2023 to 2025. That was just a counter to Colin's story, but then we get this chap. Oh look, a graph with 6, and first of all, death, at real death tweets. Oh look, a graph with 6 identical colour lines, no title, percentages with no indication whatsoever of what they represent. Now I'm convinced it's right. Whatever it is you're claiming, what a joke. Now, he's just picked on the graph. He's not picked on the other things in the Financial Times. He's not picked on the headline in the Financial Times. Just the one, because, fair enough, I've cut it out, but it's part of a video I did. So I referred him to the video. What happened? In May, BYD drastically cut prices by up to 34% across 22 models. Competitors had to follow. The result, stock prices are crashing, profits too. Even the Chinese government had to step in. AI generated graphic image of a BYD young lady samurai there. The price war turns bloody. BYD took the price war to the next level in May. Prices for 22 models cut by up to 34%. Chinese automakers discounting heavily within China. Why are the tariffs have gone on in the US and Europe? So why are they discounting in China? Everything's going down. Funnily enough, I can see the Tesla Model Y going up there. Foreign brands. The result, in just 2 weeks, BYD lost over 20 billion. Now, put that into perspective. As of the most recent exchange rates, June 2025, 20 billion, 15.7 billion Great British pounds. Last year, it cost the UK motor trade between 4.5 to 6 billion in discounts for all the EVs that were sold. Well, sold, I use the term loosely. But it cost them between 4.5 to 6 billion. BYD have just lost 15.7 billion. They could have funded the debacle, which was EV sales in the UK last year, 3 times over. No, don't want to watch the video. He doesn't want to help me get money. But my answer to him here, so putting aside the graph starts at 0 and is going down like the Titanic, with 1 being labelled BYD and the FT headlines that China's EV industry is running on empty. 400 of China's EV makers have gone skin and only 7 out of 140 are predicted to survive. You ain't getting the gist. Have you thought of getting a job at the Clown Misinformation Unit? You would fit right in there. P.S. Make sure you get an EV as a company car so you too can save £1,600 a day in La La Land. Now, again, I keep going on about this. I've notified him time and time again. This guy works for the Climate Intelligence Unit. Okay? This will also have a knock. He's not in the car trade. He works for the Climate Intelligence Unit. Before this, he used to have something to do with cycling. You can draw your own conclusions about that. The EVs sold today are the second-hand EVs of the future. And research we released today shows how a second-hand EV can save people an average of £1,600 a day. So, again, I make mistakes when I'm typing and do stuff. Fair enough. He's been told time and time again, and he's an influencer for green energy. And he's not, he's always trying to get people to print retractions, but yet this is still on his site. 1,600 times 365 equals. So according to Colin, you're going to save £584,000 a year if you buy an EV. I mean, why don't we all get one? So I sent this back to Death here, but he's not interested. He's not interested in that at all. He's not interested in the other things. He's only concentrating on this because he knows that there's a little bit of doubt, or he can cast a little bit of doubt. He can salt my tweet with all his. Just ask him, what is it a graph of? Price, share value, unit sales, number of haircuts per year of company executives, number of mentions of each company annually year on Twitter by Barrie Crampton. You've presented it as evidence of something. You must know what it represents. Well, I do. But I made the mistake of clicking on this chap's timeline. And if you just do it here, death, you'll see here, when I first clicked on it, he had no followers whatsoever. He's been a member here since 2020. Now that's something else I would call, in the old days, spies. They used to put somebody in a country and they'd call them sleepers. And they'd be there and they'd living a normal life until they were called on for a mission. The Grim Reaper, death, real death tweets. Joined December 2020, 156 following, 1 follower, as I say. He had no followers the other day. Now I'm always interested when people call you names, and it gets a bit, you know, I won't bore you with the details later on, but he's basically accusing me of being a liar, like they all do. All they need to do is just put doubt in people's mind. You know, oh, well, is Baz telling the truth? Yeah, or is somebody paying him? Is somebody from, you know, Big Oil paying him? Trust me, they're not. Nobody's paying me. The only money I get are from sponsorships for, like, Flexi Spot here, me massage chair, and my affiliate links and YouTube adverts. That's the only money I get. It's more about trying to just stop you people out there losing money because you believe the likes of these idiots. You know, I mean, what you read that, oh, I can save £1,600 a day. You go and you buy an EV, and then you realise that it's wrong. Can you sue Colin? You should be able to, because I've told him time and time again, and he should have deleted that tweet, and the Climate Intelligence Unit should have made sure, as a representative, as a gobby representative, he should have deleted that tweet, but he's not. So anyway, we'll get back to death here. Real death tweets. Would you want somebody like that representing you to be on your side? Gets worse, I'm afraid. There you go. You see, following Colin Walker, Head of Transport at the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit. And you go down a bit. Kate Florence and James, Kate Phantom, she's another big fan of mine. Loves me. But when you look at the rest of the people he's following, what a creep. Zara, his first follower, Zara, boobs, booty, and everything in between. Now, I don't know what this means. Lots of comics and art, both SFW and NSFW. I don't know what it means. I've got a bad feeling about it, but I'm going to click on it. And there you see, it doesn't, it's not pleasant, is it? NSFW animations, this is for plus 18s, no underage. He, him, Sweden, minus stay away. 3D and 2D video artist. Now this person is representing the Green lobby, the Green people. He obviously likes Kate and Colin there. Futunari lover, future script. I'm going to have my work cut out, blooming, you know, blurring all these things out. But this is it. This is, and I had another one a few months ago calling me a liar and saying all sorts of stuff about me. And when I went on to his tweets, it was obviously a botherer. And trust me, I say botherer he needed his lights punching out. This is it. This is the people calling me a liar. So, you know, even that. I referred him to the video to get the information time and time again. I didn't want to talk to him at all. No patience. Makes me sick. Absolutely makes me sick. But he wouldn't go to the video. To look, just kept going on and on. And one of my other followers told him what the graph represented, but no. I'll keep it simple so you can understand the percentage. What's it a percentage of? If you want to know more, watch my videos. Oh, Barrie, unable to deal with someone highlighting your enumerate nonsense. Keep up the propaganda. I mean, a graph showing a 40% decline in something must really prove you know your onions. To anyone reading this, lace facts, the bloke you follow posted nonsense graphs with no titles, no scale and no explanation. Now I know Barry's just here to make money rather than to inform, but think, why can't he tell us what his evidence represents? Do not believe him. So rather than believe me, you should believe this pervert who likes disgusting drawings. Shame, I was hoping you might be prepared to present your crushing evidence. As I say, I've told him and pointed him to the video. But no, he'd rather keep salting my timeline. Shame, I was hoping you might be prepared to present your crushing evidence to help your followers think you have a clue about what you're claiming. But it's okay. You've shown me to be an adult male with interests you don't like. I've shown you to be a liar. No matter how much you try to make it about me and my hobby, you'll notice you're the only one of us ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I think you're disgusting, mate. You're still the one posting false evidence, and everyone reading this now, again, as I say, salting. Pointed him to my video. Why not just answer on here? Much as we love one another, I'm not keen to help you monetize your YouTube channel. See, all these salting. And then he finishes it off with, anyway, friend, can't talk all night. I have an evening at a swingers club planned and I need a shower, etc. DM me if you want to know which one. Good one. I know real women wouldn't have anything to do with you. That's why you look at perverted drawings. Oh, Barrie, just home. They were all definitely real women. Unforgettably so. Off to bed, exhausted. I'm happy, unembarrassed and interested in facts, not joke fake graphs that I don't understand. You sound like a top guy at a swingers party all night. The real women were so unforgettable that I'm the only thing on your mind, and you've still got the energy left to tweet me as soon as you get home. I'm so sorry I spoiled your night. Please apologise to your drawings for me and watch out for paper cuts. That's it. That's the extent. That's what you get from people. I should leave it alone. I shouldn't bother. But when you get scum like that, I'm afraid I can't. It does make me wonder. Everything these days seems to be a divide. And there doesn't seem to be any way these days of having a discussion. If you don't like what somebody else likes, they hate you for it. And will say anything in order to wind you up. And do you know what? It doesn't wind me up. I feel sorry for that person. I really do. I feel sorry for the people around him. So I feel sorry for his family. I actually feel sorry for Kate and Colin, that he follows them and joins in on their argument. Who'd want somebody like that on your side? Disgusting. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.